Howdy everybody, and welcome to another episode of the NES GameMaker. Today we are going to be working on our introduction object. We started on it last time, got a few lines of code in there, mainly so that you could see something when you start up the game. Hopefully we'll get it all finished now, so let's get cracking. Last episode I turned off the microphone, and about an hour later my throat got completely, started swelling up, probably because I talked too much. And so hopefully that doesn't happen again this time, or at least maybe my voice will get used to it after a little bit. Anyways, so what we got going here? We have our camera being set up and nothing else so far. So what do we want to do next? We want to, let me open up the object here over in the other project. Oh, there it was. Okay, we're going to need to do a couple things here. So, first off, we want to queue up some introduction music. So, song underscore is equal to queue underscore new underscore song, music underscore introduction, one false, sec. So, this uses one of those scripts that are included in the scripts, object scripts, and music manager. Cue new song, you tell it what song you want, priority, if it loops, and what length of a fade you want. If you want a fade, it's optional. Alright, and beyond that, we also want to get started on, we also have a variable we need called skip underscore is equal to false. Now we're actually going to go and jump back later on to the copyright room, and we'll add in the skip functionality, but for now we'll just leave that there. Dialogue. So we are going to use something very similar to what we just recently did in the copyright room. Is equal to, and instead of just having a single string, this time we're going to have multiple strings. So we set up a one-dimensional array. This is how you do it in GMS2. If you're using GMS1, you need to remember to you have to declare it, I believe, with a array something array create. But we don't have to do that here, so we'll do that. We're going to use some string literals again. At in the year of 200x dot dot dot. Alright, I'm just going to copy paste this here. And you can, of course, zoom in on this and see what's going on. Yeah, you can see. Good. This material here, you'll need to remember the string literals include the space. If you weren't using string literals, you could do this as, instead, you just do \n. Whoops, it has to be lowercase n. And that will cause a new line to be printed. But I'm just using string literals because it's easier, kind of, maybe. I don't know. Depends on how you look at things. Alright, so once we got that in, well, now we need to know what our index or line is for our array. So we're at line 0, or in other words, at this line, index 0, line 1, be index 1, line 2, index 2, line 3, index 3 there. And fade underscore speed again. This is lifted from our transitions and copyright room. 0.005. Wait underscore duration underscore is equal to sec times 4. Again, lifted from the copyright room. Wait underscore timer underscore is equal to -1. Alpha underscore is equal to 0. Mode underscore is equal to true. And just for so you remember, true equals moving towards 1. And then once again, we could set our H-align and V-align, which I did previously, but I'm not going to do that here. I'm going to do that actually over in the draw event again. That way it continuously refreshes throughout the entire introduction system. Alright, so let's jump over to the draw. This will be fairly simple actually. So first off, we want to draw ourselves, because remember the not room copyright, room introduction, this is the back, our object is actually the background here. Alright, so we need to remember to draw ourselves. Then we need to draw text. If line underscore is less than array underscore length underscore 1D dialog, then we want to draw text. The reason why we're doing this is so that we don't have to bother with trying to clamp the line length, and so it can just kind of keep counting up continuously, and we don't have to really care about stopping it. Draw underscore set underscore alpha to alpha. And of course, remember to set our H-align and V-align as well. FA center and FA middle. Then we want to draw underscore text at room underscore width divided by 2. That's the reason why we use FA center here, because it makes it easy to just draw the text at the room center if we want to have it centered in the middle of the room. Room underscore height minus 32. Again, remember we have this blank space here, so we want to draw room height minus 32, which is about halfway up here again. So we're drawing the text at this point right here exactly. Dialog underscore line underscore. And draw underscore set underscore alpha back to 1. And that was fairly simple. We have a second draw actually in this case. We're going to throw in a draw end as well. Draw a black box to hide the tower behind as it starts crawling. So this would be basically drawing a background for the text and everything. Line underscore is greater than or equal to array underscore length underscore 1D dialog underscore. And if I remember, I'll show you what it looks like if you don't include this bit. Actually, we set the draw color to black there. So back over on our draw event, we should remember to set the draw color to white. That way our text always draws white. And we're just going to go draw underscore rectangle 0y plus 168. So that sets it to y. Y is right here, plus 168 is the sprite height. And I could just change that with sprite height actually, and that would probably be better than having a magic number. And I'll just leave it as 168 since that's what I know right now. It's never a good idea to experiment as you are showing off, because you always end up failing. 296 false. So 0 y plus 168 and y plus 296, so that would be down to there. And x would be 0 and x2 would be the room width. And return that back to white. Alright, so we got our black box drawing, we got our text drawing, Now we need to do the hard part. So let's go over to the step event. And yes, so first off, we don't want to start the text crawling at the bottom. We don't want to start the text appearing and disappearing at the bottom of the screen until our transition from the previous room into this room is over. So we just throw in this little is over. Transitions mode underscore does not equal trans underscore mode dot off, then exit. So if our transition mode isn't off, so if the transition hasn't stopped yet, then exit, don't execute the step event. And a lot of this code, again, is going to be completely copy-pasted from our transition object and our copyright object, so it should be fairly quick and easy. Alpha underscore is greater than or equal to 1, and wait underscore timer underscore is less than or equal to -1. Mode underscore is equal to not mode underscore. Wait underscore timer underscore is equal to wait underscore duration. If wait underscore timer underscore is less than or equal to 0. If mode underscore, whoops, and we copy and paste in our formulas for a smooth transition. There we go. And last but not least, if alpha underscore is less than or equal to 0, mode underscore, wait a second, oh, is equal to not mode underscore and line underscore plus plus. So yeah, once the text has completely faded out, then set our mode back to true, so we go back towards 1, and increase our line count so that we are now displaying the next line of text. Excuse me. And of course, wait underscore timer underscore minus minus. That looks so much more, so much cleaner than it does on my copy. Okay, good. Okay, so next up, we have a couple different things to facilitate our scrolling, and then the creation of the title event, and then we'll jump back to our copyright object to add in the ability to skip the opening introduction. So first off, start scrolling. If line underscore is greater than or equal to array underscore length underscore 1D dialog underscore. I could have saved this as a variable instead of always calculating the line length, but I did not. Object underscore camera dot y minus equal 1.5. Okay. So what are we doing here? We're creating a parallax effects by moving our Y position at 1.0 and the camera's object speed at 1.5. That way, the background here moves up slower than the tower moves up. And create the title. So if not audio underscore is underscore playing song, then instance underscore create underscore layer at 3232 instances object underscore title, cue underscore new underscore song. Music underscore title. 1 false. And destroy me. So what we're doing here, once the audio is done playing, so we have this introduction music. You might be familiar with it. Then once that's finished playing through and everything's timed so that it should finish about the exact same time you reach the top of the tower, then it creates a new title object, cues a new title song. Let me turn down the volume a bit. Yeah, that's the good stuff. And then destroys itself, because by this point the city background should no longer be visible, so there's no reason for it to sit around any longer. And we don't want it to be causing some sort of issue with draws or something. And it's easier to just get rid of it. Now, I will say there is a big problem with what I've done here. I've been using this timer here, this wait timer. And what I should have done is I should have synchronized this whole thing with the music, so that when the music reaches 3 seconds in, so I currently have it set so that every 4 seconds the timer will change over to the next line. But I should have set it up so that every 4 seconds of the song, then it will change to the next line. The reason why I say this is because the when I run OBS to record the video game, as I run it in the runner here, it will actually cause the game to slow down, but the music runs asynchronously with the game. So the music continues to run normally, even though the game has slowed down because OBS is recording. So that causes the recording and the everything to fall out of sync. To combat that, I set that to 3 seconds here for the purpose while I'm recording. But yeah, I could have set this up to. I didn't really find out about that problem until after I had finished building the entire project, so that's why I haven't done that. So anyways, let's go back over here to the step. We need to remember to add in the skippability. If object underscore input dot start underscore pressed, or skip is true, then we want to skip the introduction. So we just do this, and we set the camera's position. Now, actually, that would probably work. Yeah, that should work. I was going to set the XY, but I remembered I got this fixed mode. I could have just set the state to fixed. So let's see what else. We come back to our object copyright over here. And we need to set into the step event. We have all this. Let me make sure all the code is correct. Yeah, so we set it to persistent. We go to the next room. Alarm 0 is equal to 1. This sets object introduction dot skip equal to true, and then instance destroy. All right, good. So yeah, all that code is in there already. Good. Yeah, I did it already. Let's see then. So we got to create the step. We have the ability to skip, create the title. We create the title. So we need to remember to actually make a title object. So come over to room objects and object underscore title, create that there. And we're going to give it a sprite. Backgrounds. Mega Man 2 sprite title. Let's see how much time we got. We are currently at 20 minutes exactly, so I think we'll leave it off right here for the moment. Let's take a look at what we got going on now, though. So, real quick, let's make sure our volume, yeah, it's set to 0.5. Let me just grab my controller here. There we go. And the scrolling effect should work just fine too. So I didn't run it because it takes a little bit of time to do the actual run through everything. So let's close all that up, and I think we're about done with this episode. So let's roll out the Patreons. Alright, I'd like to thank my Patreons, Fragile Hearts, Crew Patreon, Damien, and Kenneth Klein for all their support in this project. It's really a great opportunity to be able to work with you guys, and I hope to see more people supporting in the future. So, everybody, remember to just have fun with your programming, and good luck with it.